Live from Fox 5, welcome to the News Block.
Here are the top stories in the news block. The stage is set. The U.S. now knows some of the teams it'll face in the opening round of the FIFA World Cup. An historic vaccine decision. A federal advisory committee just voted to end a decades-long recommendation. Newborns will no longer automatically get the hepatitis B shot. And hearing canceled, the accused healthcare CEO killer Luigi Mangione is apparently sick, so now the pretrial hearing on key evidence is being delayed. And you better bundle up. We've been dealing with an Arctic blast. Nick Gregory is standing by to let us know how much longer these frigid temperatures are going to last. Good afternoon. I'm Duarte Geraldino. Thanks for joining us for the News Block. It was a star-studded event featuring world leaders as well as sports legends. I'm talking about the 2026 FIFA World Cup. It's coming back to North America, and we carried the drawing live right here on Fox 5. Tina Servasio is live in Times Square, where they had a huge watch party. Tina, what's the latest?
Yes, Duarte, earlier today here in Times Square, it was a festival. It was a party. And, you know, Times Square is known as the crossroads of the world. Well, soccer fans from all over the world came together to watch the final World Cup draw. And you know who joined them? Members of the U.S. men's national team. That's right. We actually had players here, both USA goalkeepers, Park Ridge, New Jersey native Matt Turner, who was the starting goalkeeper for the U.S. in the 2022 World Cup, and New York City FC goalkeeper Matt Freese, who was a standout for the U.S. this summer in the Gold Cup, along with U.S. World Cup veteran defender Tim Ream. The three of them spoke to the crowd as well as watched the World Cup draw as the U.S. opponent slowly unfolded. And I was speaking with Tim Ream right as Australia was revealed as an opponent in Group D. All right, Tim, so what is your reaction? You know now the U.S. at some point will play Australia.
A little bit surprised. I mean, we obviously just played them in Denver, in October. We had a good taste, a good idea of what they are and what they, you know, what type of team they are, and a great, we'll say, audition for the group stage. When the World Cup is at home and, you know, in our country is it's really more than a dream come true, because when I was dreaming about this when I was a kid, I didn't know that it was going to be here in America.
So here's the situation. The U.S. only knows two of its three opponents in Group D play, Australia and then Paraguay. However, that final spot in Group D will go to whichever team qualifies in one of the European playoffs. And one of the strongest countries out of that playoff is Turkey. So they might be the team right now that everyone's expecting to make the World Cup and be in Group D. Now, tomorrow, FIFA will release the actual game dates and locations of all of the group play matches, as well as the start time for those matches. So there is still a lot more to come as we get ready for the World Cup, which begins June 11th, Duarte, here in the United States, as well as Canada and Mexico. For now, reporting live in Times Square, Tina Servasio, Fox 5 News.
Thank you so much, Tina. And I have one quick question, if you have time. What's next for the U.S. men's team as we head into the World Cup?
Oh, so there's still so much to do for the U.S. men's national team. So even the players that were here today don't know for sure if they're going to be playing in the World Cup. They have the final roster announcement in May. And even before that, the USA is going to play a number of friendlies. They are going to play Portugal and Belgium in March. And then they're going to play Germany right ahead of the World Cup in early June. So then by then, those are going to be great tune-ups and tests for the U.S. and very strong countries to face before the actual tournament starts. So there's still a lot to come, and we'll learn about the final U.S. men's national team in early May. Duarte.
Very exciting. Thank you so much, Tina. And as Tina said, soccer fans from around the world packed Times Square today to watch the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw in real time. And it was so cold out there, but soccer fans, they still showed up to see the draw and find out where their team landed. Sky Fox HD was overhead showing just how crowded it got. Just look at this. Fox 5's Ryan Christopher talked with fans from all walks of life. The energy was still so high, and even that cold and former U.S. World Cup player Tony, well, they were there too with a little advice for Team USA.
You know, I would just say we're excited. Home court advantage, home field advantage. Don't peak too early. I think we're getting our stride. Don't get too overconfident. But nothing really matters until the last day, right? So be ready in June and take your time and enjoy this moment because it's going to last forever.
What a moment it is. Guess who the new mascot is? You're looking at it. U.S. Soccer announced it before the draw. It's a Chesapeake Bay Retriever. And the Federation says they picked this breed for its bright, happy disposition, its courage, its work ethic, and its intelligence. The dog will wear number 27, which is a nod to the 27 national teams under the U.S. Soccer umbrella. But there's no name yet. You can vote by becoming a U.S. Soccer insider and downloading the official app. So go do it. And remember, Fox 5 is also your home for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. We'll have stories and features leading up to the big event, so stay tuned. And let's get a check on the weather. It's so cold outside. Meteorologist Nick Gregory is standing by at the Weather Center for a look at the forecast. Nick?
Yep, and that cold air is sticking around, although not as brutal tonight and tomorrow as it was early this morning, Duarte. We're still talking temperatures now, though, that have not gotten out of the 20s today. That's across the northern suburbs. Still only 26, Poughkeepsie down towards White Plains and over to Sussex. Look at Monticello, stuck at 20. We're at 30, finally hitting freezing at Islip, and the only place above freezing on this map, Belmar, New Jersey. So we'll see temperatures kind of stay steady for most of the night, may even start to rise just a little bit as we get the wind kind of shifting from the north, which is what it's doing now, kind of a light north wind, eventually becoming southeasterly into tomorrow at only about 5 miles per hour or so. All right, so we don't have much going on here nearby. Again, what we do have is a bit of cloud cover. That cloud cover is going to stick around, and we've been watching again this disturbance that's off to the south, and it's going to send a little bit of moisture up our way. That in combination with the wind coming in off the ocean could produce a little bit of light snow overnight or a little bit of freezing drizzle in parts of the area. So that's something to keep in mind. It's going to be very, very light, very, very little, but that is something we are going to be watching in the forecast, which you'll see here on the Futurecast overnight. Temperatures, again, just kind of staying where they are. Notice by tomorrow morning, they're actually up a degree or two, 33 in the city, 32 down the shore. Here's some of that precipitation, again, kind of mixing in the morning time frame. And that threat's probably with us to about 10 or 11 a.m. or so, maybe a little bit later than that. Clouds are going to hang tough. They may break a little bit in the afternoon. It doesn't look like we'll get a lot of breaks of sun, but the potential's there. That will help get the temperatures back up to the upper 30s into the lower 40s. Tomorrow night, it looks like we'll have just some patchy clouds around. We'll be dropping back down into the 20s north and west, but again, not as cold as this morning, and back down to close to freezing for the city and along the coast. Now, Sunday, the clouds come right back at us as temperatures kind of hold again in the upper 30s to around 40 degrees. So kind of a chilly weekend. Again, these temperatures are below average and just very light snow or light little freezing drizzle happening overnight. So it should not be a big problem, but we were missing those temperatures that were definitely in the 50s a couple of weeks ago. Duarte?
Thank you so much. I'm bundling up. Developing now, Luigi Mangione is apparently sick. He and his lawyers were supposed to be back in court this morning for day 4 of his suppression hearing, but it's been canceled. Michelle Ross is here now with an update on this crucial hearing. Michelle.
That's right. And Luigi Mangione's defense team, they did not go into detail about his apparent sickness, but just as court got started for the day, as it usually does, the judge canceled today's hearing. Luigi has been granted the right to wear civilian clothing throughout this hearing, so he's been wearing a suit every day in court. Looking back on this week, we saw key pieces of evidence: body-worn camera footage of the arrest in McDonald's, audio of the 911 call, and transportation tickets dated on the day of the shooting. There was a Philadelphia SEPTA train ticket time-stamped for 1:06 p.m. on December 4th. Again, this is the day of the shooting. And then a Greyhound bus ticket for the same day for travel from Philly, departing at 6:30 at night, arriving in Pittsburgh at 11:55 p.m. And the name on the ticket was printed as Sam Dawson. And next week, we can expect to see more Altoona police officers on the stand, specifically Officer Fox and Officer Wasser. Wasser was seen on body-worn camera footage saying that there's a gun in the backpack.
So I know that his defense lawyers are trying to get some of the evidence kicked out. Any idea about what specifically they don't want the jury to see?
A big one, Duarte, is the backpack. It's what the Officer Wasser was seen saying there's a gun in this backpack, and it's the alleged murder weapon that prosecutors are saying was used in the killing to shoot and kill Brian Thompson. So if the defense is able to get that out, that would be good for them.
So when you say good, what would it mean in a practical sense if they don't actually get to see this evidence.
So it would be a win in a sense where it's not the jury wouldn't be able to see it and not really connect the two between each other, but it wouldn't be an automatic win, I would say, because they still have the fingerprints that connect Luigi Mangione to the scene of the crime. For example, the Kind bar and also the water bottle that was recovered, police say, at that Starbucks in Midtown.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you.
And a judge is ordering the man accused of planting pipe bombs around Washington, D.C. to stay in jail. Prosecutors say he set these devices the night before the January 6th attack. Now, Brian Cole is 30 years old. He did not enter a plea today. The FBI says he planted pipe bombs near both National Committee officers the night before January 6th. Now, AP sources say he later confessed and claimed the 2020 election was stolen from President Trump. Investigators have not said what his motive was. No one was hurt. The bombs never actually went off, but the FBI says both devices could have been deadly. And developing news, a federal vaccine advisory committee voted today to end the longtime practice of giving every newborn a hepatitis B shot at birth. They now want only babies born to mothers who test positive to get the dose, automatically that is. Now, for all other newborns, the committee says parents and doctors should make the call amongst themselves. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. appointed this panel. He's a well-known anti-vaccine activist. Now, the committee says newborns face very little risk of hepatitis B, and they claim the research on infant vaccination is just not strong enough. But for years, public health experts have credited this shot with preventing thousands of infections.